Music has been in movies ever since we figured out how to put sound in film. So, since the 1920s, roughly. Since then, there's been a proud tradition of composers making original songs and recordings for films. These collections of songs became known as soundtracks, and companies began selling them commercially in 1938, with Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs being the first film to sell its songs to the masses. So when did filmmakers turn to licensing music instead of creating their own? Many point to 1967's The Graduate as being the first, given that it was one of the earliest examples of a film soundtrack that was made up of mostly pop music. But this film is far from the first to use popular music. Could be said that 1927's The Jazz Singer, the first talkie film, was the first movie to incorporate a licensed soundtrack, as it features a performance of the then popular song Mammy. This might be the case, but the song is diegetic to the film. We actually see the man performing this song in blackface. We're looking for a more non-diegetic example, like Sound of Silence in The Graduate. Some dude online said it might be 1946's Margie, but honestly, it doesn't seem like it to me. Regardless of when the licensed soundtrack first came into effect, it certainly took off sometime after The Graduate, and more important than when they came to be is the power they have on the popular listening landscape. The soundtrack to Dazed and Confused introduced 70s rock to a new generation in the 90s. Shrek's soundtrack turned All-Star into one of the meanest memes on the planet. And Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack managed to convince people to watch a film adaptation of a comic book they've never read. That's right. Blockbuster Summer continues with a look at licensed soundtracks and music in films on Cover Me. That's right, it's Cover Me, the only podcast that usually compares famous songs to their many cover versions to find out which one is the best. But this week, we're talking about songs and films that weren't written for films but are in films. I'm your host, as always, The Snake, joined by my licensed co-host,
Alex Mildenberger.
Alex Mildenberger. How you doing there?
I can sell food and alcohol.
That is splendid. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. I hope that goes well for you. Alex, there's something I listen for all the time during an intro, and it's when Alex decides to Google something.
Because my keyboard's so loud.
Your keyboard's so ticky-tacky. What piqued your interest in that intro there?
Oh, no, I'm just making sure I have all the information that I need.
Okay, you're just making sure you're all set up.
I didn't have a lot of pages pulled up.
No, okay. I got a few. I got some pages pulled up. Alex, how you doing today? You already said you're doing good. How's the weather?
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful here. I was out in Kananaskis yesterday. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Climbing
some rocks. I've never done that before, so that was cool.
Nice, Alex.
Yeah. Just a little.
Do you make little link noises when you climb? He's always grunting when he climbs. He's like,
Yeah, regularly. No, I don't climb that fast. Much slower. So. Yeah.
Excellent. Glad to see you're out there climbing there. Alex, today we're going off the beaten trail again. People love it when we do this. They're always excited to see a shorter episode of Cover Me show up in their feed. Alex, we're talking about licensed soundtracks, loosely. Mostly, because there's very few movies I think that have just a solely licensed soundtrack. Every movie seems to have score in it, right?
Some.
Yeah.
But for a lot of those, I mean, you don't necessarily notice. The score is there to punctuate moments or whatever.
Right.
They decided there needs to be a violin. But, I mean, a lot of stuff does have these licensed soundtracks, and maybe less nowadays? I don't know. I didn't do the math.
Yeah, what do you think? Did it peak in the 90s and then taper off? And then I kind of feel like it's come back a bit, but maybe that was the last decade, and now we're veering away.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, with something, maybe it became more like the domain of children's movies for a while. Because, I think Shrek probably, that's the first one that I knew of for sure, where it was, a lot of licensed music in it.
Right, because a kid's not going to fucking care about some little fantasy arrangement you made for a Matrix fight between Fiona and the Robin Hood and the Merry Men.
Yeah, but, there's still score there. It's just...
Yeah.
Not necessarily as memorable.
True, yeah. How else are you going to hook these kids in? You got to get these kids to sit and look at a big ugly ogre. You got to play All-Star right off the bat. Hey,
yeah, exactly. Or something to draw them in. And Minions do that too, right? Minions soundtrack is
jam-packed. Well,
it's jam-packed, but it's not necessarily licensed. It's kind of a hybrid. It is licensed, but
we're getting to this different era, and we talked about covers like this too, the cinema trailer covers. where it's no
Right.
longer the practice of just taking a licensed song and slotting it in. You then have to filter it through another artist to make it more specifically for the film. So like with the Minions 2, they got a fucking all-star cast to record a bunch of covers. And the covers are like, they vary in quality, but it's still, the names you have on that are insane. You got like fucking Thundercat on there. You've got Phoebe Bridgers. You've got
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot of songs on there.
a ton. You got Tame Impala.
Yeah, big names. I mean, I guess there's Minions has money, you know.
The Minions do have money. They are.
They've been making those for a while,
moneymakers.
and I think they're still doing pretty well. Like,
that Minions 2
haven't
just
seen
came
them,
out
but-
last year, so
yeah.
they're still raking it in.
And they made the Mario movie.
They made the Mario movie. The
Which
crazy thing about
was-
the Minions, though,
Was there a
Just-
song? Was there a licensed song in the?
there's
Mario
several
movie?
licensed songs in
Oh,
the
okay.
Mario movie. It's weird about that one is that there's actually, if you listen to the soundtrack, maybe I should pull up the soundtrack here, see if it's on Tidal. But there is a scene where they go to the Kong Kingdom in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And
Right.
There's like this wild, zany, like car scene where they drive, because apparently for some reason Donkey Kong Kingdom has a bunch of cars in it. It's like, sure, why not? But there is a track actually for that scene that doesn't get used. Instead, they put in "Take on Me" in the final theater cut. But
So weird.
the track still exists on the album, and somebody used it. They synchronized it to that scene, and it's like flawless.
Like it fits.
Yeah, like it fits like the stings are all built for like the big action points that happen
so
as
weird.
they drive around. It's crazy that
What a weird like producer note where they're like, take out the song we.
yeah, put
we,
in "Take
commissioned
on Me"
for this.
instead.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, you get that. You get is it "Hero" or "I Need a Hero" by Bonnie Tyler.
Holding out for a hero.
Holding Out for a Hero, that's the name of it.
Which is, I mean, also in Shrek 2.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, and Shrek,
Shrek
1 and 2 both kind of did that as well, actually. Like where they would get a popular band to cover an older song.
That's right. It was
Or sometimes a character in the movie, although I'm a little unclear on that. Because Holding Out for a Hero specifically is in Shrek 2.
and
like,
sung
they
by the
perform it.
fairy godmother.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, I don't... See, I haven't watched Shrek in a while.
yeah,
There's a cover of Believer, the Monkeys song.
yes,
done by Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth, yeah.
And I don't remember if that's in the movie or not, but it's definitely on the
I think
soundtrack.
it is. There's like a love montage between Shrek and Fiona as he's taking her back from the dragon's castle.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
I think he like inflates a bunch of frogs or something. I'm not sure if it's diegetic, that one.
He
though.
does-
I don't know if there's,
he
like,
does inflate
birds in it or
frogs.
something. Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, you're right, because there is moments where they bring it directly into, so it's especially Shrek. Shrek's such a weird one, because now we got to talk about DVD bonus features. There's such a
Yeah.
strong relationship to music. On the first one, they had Shrek's karaoke dance party.
Shrek in the Swamp Karaoke Dance Party. I know
That's
it well.
what it was. You know it well. Yeah, the first time I heard that one Billy Joel song he sings.
Just the way you are.
Yeah, don't go changing.
Yeah, that was, I mean, because it's such a medley thing. I mean, the whole Shrek movie and soundtrack was
Mhm.
like extremely seminal for me.
Yes.
And like this was the first time I heard a lot of these songs, and also didn't necessarily know what they were until years later when I heard it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was in Shrek.
Yeah, it was like somebody laying triggers in you to
Yeah.
be discovered years later.
And like, I'm always curious how much that is, Mike Myers, like how much sway he has there,
Yeah,
because that seems like kind of his thing, right? Because even
Yeah.
going back further, like Wayne's World 1 and 2 to a degree, mostly 1 because it
Mhm.
has, like that was also fairly seminal a little later in my life, but that was the first time I heard Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right.
Like, that's big, you know, and a bunch of other stuff that I would consider, you know, that was like big for me, big in like classic rock stuff.
Classic rock,
Um,
yeah.
It has like Ballroom Blitz in it, and like some Jimi Hendrix. First time I heard "Feed My Frankenstein" by Alice Cooper. Not that that's my favorite Alice Cooper song or anything, but
it's
you know.
certainly a Alice Cooper song.
like Alice Cooper. exposure there, and like the second one, I mean, we talked about it a bit, where it has that version of Mrs. Robinson.
That's right, by Lemonheads.
Yeah. So
Mrs. Robinson, made for just one movie, appears in a lot of movies.
In a lot of movies, yeah.
Also appears in Forrest Gump soundtrack. You're touching on something here that I wanted to talk about, though, Alex, and maybe it's one of the things, it's the discovery of music and these like certain genres and subgenres through film. You touched on some good ones there, Wayne's World. I didn't watch Wayne's World until I was much older. I mean, like a teenager.
Yeah,
So
much older.
Much older.
I mean, I first saw it when I was probably 9 or 10.
9 or 10. That's
And
a good time to see
based
that.
on like the thing I knew about ahead of time was like there's a scene in the car where they're headbanging to this song.
Right.
And I didn't know that song because I had Queen Greatest Hits, but not Classic Queen.
Oh my
And
god.
Bohemian Rhapsody is on Classic Queen.
Classic Queen and probably what, Greatest Hits 2? That's insane it's not on Greatest Hits 1.
Well, it's kind of like a collection together. I don't know how they
Oh, okay.
decided,
Okay.
but to me, those were like the two Queen albums
Right.
at the time. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's gnarly. Any other big song discoveries through licensed soundtracks?
I'm trying to think. I mean, the stuff we used to listen to, definitely, and like I kind of stopped when I became like a big classic rock snob, but like there was a song, and you were talking about DVD bonus features. There used to always
Hell
be
yeah.
like there was that, but there were a lot of music videos. We would always rent stuff and see music videos. And then my brother used to always really, really like to watch the music videos, so I would see them, watch them with him. And I mean, there was stuff on Shrek. There was a Baha Men song called "Best Years of Our Lives,"
Best Years of Our
which we used to watch all the time.
What a strange thing. I was like,
I
yeah,
know.
who let the dogs out? You're like, no.
Nick,
Oh,
no,
okay.
a different one somehow.
There's a second Baha Man song.
And I just remember watching these. Also Shrek. Man, a lot of these are Shrek. There's a song called "Like Wow" by
Wow.
Leslie Carter.
Never heard of it.
And if you're like Carter, and it's like, yeah, like Carter.
Like Carter, like Aaron Carter?
I think so. Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
related
she's the
to
sister to Nick and Aaron Carter.
Nick and Aaron Carter.
Sister
okay.
of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like just weird stuff like that. That I don't know how formative that was, but in terms of like discovering stuff, it was probably like big for Wayne's World. Another one that was big for me early on was A Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale. I never saw that one. I wanted to though.
Yeah, I mean it's basically, it's a classic rock soundtrack. It has We Will Rock You on it, and like Low Rider, Taking Care of Business, The Golden Years.
Golden Years.
And
Well,
like The Boys Are Back in Town, so like not We Are the Champions, so it's not
Hell
like
yeah.
so out there in terms of like selection, but certainly at the time was very exciting when I was like just getting into this kind of music.
Yeah, that's
I was
a
like,
real
it's in a
primer
movie,
there.
someone else likes it, amazing.
Yeah, you're like, this is popular. I remember once singing a song on the playground, and some guy was like, that song came out a year ago. That's old. I was like, okay, shit. I don't remember what the song was, but like, yeah, hearing this kind of music in films, I was like, fuck yeah, now it's cool to like rock again, even though it was either always cool or never cool to like rock, or it never mattered. But I thought it mattered as a kid.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it mattered. Did you have some formative soundtracks as well?
I'm not sure. A lot of my like formative classic rock was built on road trips with my family and just like burn CDs my father had made using Napster.
Yeah.
That was like the real.
Yeah,
like,
similar for me, but it was my sister.
Yeah.
But we also had like the Shrek soundtrack,
Yeah, we did
and-
not. I think we had like some Disney soundtracks, which are originals, so it's not
Right.
not quite the same. But I'm trying to think. Like Shrek, naturally, Shrek was big for me.
Shrek has come up so much. This is the Shrek
love.
episode.
This is the Shrek episode of Cover Me. It's weird because I find more that I like nowadays will listen to a movie soundtrack or like hear a song in a movie, and I'll be like, oh, that's like one little, like there's one song in the track that I'm like, oh, I'll take that and listen to that. Like I was just looking at Baby Driver, a movie that had a great soundtrack and some horrible actors in it. Not in terms of their performance, but in terms of their personal lives.
Right.
But the song Deborah by T-Rex. Now, I was a T-Rex fan for a long time. I never listened to that song.
Yeah, I still haven't listened to it much.
You bastard, Alex. But yeah, hearing that, I was like, ooh, this is some good music. So I find I'm a real just like, I take out little singles from soundtracks. Like Come and Get Your Love from Guardians of the Galaxy by Redbone. Not actually featured on the soundtrack, but featured in the film. So.
Oh, that's weird.
Weird.
Is it from rights issue or something?
Maybe, I'm not sure. But like, yeah, in terms of like songs, I pick up songs from TV shows as well, but never really. I can't even think of maybe the Space Jam soundtrack. That one was probably pretty.
What's on the Space Jam soundtrack?
Yeah, I Believe I Can Fly.
Oh,
that one
does kind of fly.
Yeah, because he flies to dunk, Alex. The Space Jam soundtrack. Let me tell you what it's got on it, Alex. Fly Like an Eagle. That one, Steve Miller.
Yeah.
But the Seal cover of it. Yeah, that was a big one for me, and then later got me into the Steve Miller Band because, of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of bad people related to music, R. Kelly doing "I Believe I Can Fly."
Yeah.
Of course, the Space Jam theme song, which again another meme one.
Come on and slam.
Welcome to the jam. Yeah, that's the one. Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, you, what you gonna do?
Yeah, those are big ones.
Ones in my life, Alex.
Those are big ones. I guess, what else was there? Back to the Future. We've talked about Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah, that probably had a pretty big effect on me, though I don't realize it.
Which was mostly, some of those songs were written for it, and some of them were licensed, and some of them were score. So it's kind of like a combination of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you'll find with that one. Films like, I was thinking about films I watched a lot as a kid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles films have a combination of things. And naturally the big one from that was made for the film Ninja Rap, so it's not a licensed one.
Ninja.
I found the licensed music in that movie didn't really connect with me I liked it, but I never sought it out as a child.
Yeah, I don't even remember there being licensed music in that.
You don't remember
movie.
The song 9.95 from the credits?
Surprisingly
not.
No.
It's very weird because they even reference it at the end of the film. I believe Donatello says I give it a 9.95. And then the synth bumps in and goes boop, 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 boop,
I never got that.
It's like you can miss it because they're just like cowabunga and they're all laughing and it's just like fading out. But it's like once you hear it, you're just like, do they really think this song was gonna pop off?
It's like that good for a needle drop.
Yeah, that's it was a bizarre thing. But yeah, so some of the songs I listened to as a child didn't really impact as well. I think maybe for me, there was a point in my life where I thought not being into music was going to be my move because my siblings like music. And I was like, well, somebody
do the opposite.
Be against it. But
gotta stand out somehow.
Yeah, gotta stand out. But that didn't happen. I somehow got hooked on music, brother.
Yeah, it's difficult. I guess we should probably at least a little bit talk about Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, if we want to talk about influential, but I had only seen the movie once, again, when I was a teenager, and I was already into this music. Because your gateway into 70s rock is either Dazed and Confused, or Marijuana, or, of course, A Knight's Tale.
Yeah, or A
the
Knight's
three
Tale.
ways you get in.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I saw it, by the time I saw it, I was already sold. I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't need to be like, whoa, this rocks.
But I've always heard that it's very important in terms of getting people interested in music from this era. Because it came out in 93.
Yes.
And, it had a bunch of, classic rock stuff from the 70s on it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Fox on the Run.
Apparently, I've heard it's a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one where I even was looking it up this week to be like, is there some certified numbers on the heavy impact of this?
Yeah, it's hard to
and it's hard to grasp, but this movie's a Criterion collection. I think the soundtrack has been sold quite a lot. It's a big deal. People
I was trying to find numbers, but I don't see anything here.
Couldn't see any numbers, but I'll tell you this.
And I had the soundtrack.
Right.
later. Like, but I wouldn't call this one formative. It probably would have been if I had seen it earlier. And when I watched the movie, because I'd always heard about it.
Yes.
For some reason, I'd always heard about Dazed and Confused and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Right.
And then I eventually watched them. But
yes.
I knew the names of the movies before.
Of course.
And I don't know why. And I always heard about them together. I don't know why.
They're similar, I guess. They're both high school films.
Yeah,
are they both Cameron Crowe?
I don't think so.
Okay, he does at least one of them. Or is that thinking about Almost Famous, which he does?
When I watched Dazed and Confused, I accidentally skipped the beginning of the movie. So, like, none of it made any sense.
Right.
And I was like, this movie is so confusing. But I missed, like, the first 10 minutes of it. Where they introduce all the characters and relationships. And there's, like, a brother and a sister.
Yeah.
And that's, like, the only time they interact until the end of the movie. And then at the end of the movie... So I didn't know they were related in any way. And then they just casually talk at the end of the movie. And it was so confusing. Or it was a surprise to me, but yeah.
Yeah, you thought it was a twist. And
it's like, what?
It's just like a casual wind down. You're like,
yeah, exactly. Anyway, I thought we should bring it up, even though it's not really that big a deal for either of us.
Yeah, for either of us, but I do think it's a pretty solid soundtrack. Alex, here's one that is maybe, it rides the line between licensed and like remade, this sort of new remade trend, but way back in the year like 2001. Moulin Rouge.
Right.
You got that one, my siblings watched a lot, and me, I like to watch movies a lot, so I would sit with them and watch this movie.
Yeah, my sister also a big fan of this one, so I saw it with her. I remember, I mean, again, a lot of the music was stuff I already liked at the time.
Yeah.
So this is great. You put some songs you already like in a movie that they're redone, that they redo, rather.
Yeah.
But it's cool. And
yeah, I think
that
it probably
one
exposed me to
cool
a couple of hits. I don't know if I knew Your Song by Elton John.
I might have. Probably didn't know that it was called Your Song.
What's even crazier, though, is I'm looking at the soundtrack right now. Apparently Diamond Dogs is in the film.
Oh. David Bowie is in that movie.
He's in that movie?
Yeah, he's in it. He, like, narrates a bit.
Oh,
I think he's just in the intro.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
It does say here on the title, the first track, Nature Boy, performed by David Bowie.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. But yeah, you get a couple of bangers in here. You got Roxanne, but done all weirdo like.
All weirdo like.
It's the ringleader guy, and he's being a freak about it.
True. I think is Diamonds Are Girl's Best Friend in there?
Yes, it is.
You already said Your Song,
Your
Like
Song,
a Virgin, I think as well,
Like
but it might be a medley.
There is a medley that Ewan McGregor does, which I think Your Song is part of that. And this is the reason when I was driving in the car with Greta before we were dating, we were just working together, and I had put in, I think it was a David Bowie live album, and she was like, "Oh, he's doing a cover of Elton John when Heroes came on." And I just about turned it on coming traffic. I was like, what did you fucking say to me? So that's the danger of this film in particular, is that it can trick you into thinking that Elton John wrote David Bowie songs. It's a dangerous thing.
So yeah, very dangerous.
Very dangerous. Alex, I'm going to slot in a fucking segment right here. That's what we do on these episodes here. We come out of nowhere at you.
Yeah.
I got a list of the best-selling soundtracks of all time. These are physical copies.
Okay.
There's 10 on the list here. They span the years of 1977 to 1995.
What year was The Graduate?
67.
Never mind then.
So we're past The Graduate. I will give you a hint. At least one of the movies on this list we've talked about for blockbuster summer.
Okay.
So guess. Yeah, that's the game. Guess, bro.
Guess, bro. This top 10, you said?
Top 10.
I feel like Shrek might be on there. I mean,
that would be a good guess if I hadn't told you that the years were from 1977 to 1995.
Oh, I missed that end.
That last bit.
All right, then Dirty Dancing has to be on there, right?
Dirty Dancing is their number 3, Alex, with 32 million in sales.
Okay, so other than that, what's the movie with the... hang on, let me just do a little bit of Googling. Not about that, just about...
Let me just Google the Wikipedia page here real quick. To make this a little more efficient, I could tell you the rank, the year, and the artists listed and see if you can get the movie from there. Because I feel like a lot of these you might not get.
I'm gonna guess one more first.
Sure, yeah, go blind.
If I can find the name of this movie that I have completely forgotten, and it is called Goodfellas.
That's a good guess, but no.
Okay.
And apparently a great licensed soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's Martin Scorsese apparently likes to use a lot of Rolling Stones. I haven't seen a lot of Scorsese.
I haven't either. I like Shutter Island, though.
Hey, yeah, it's a good one. Okay, Alex, so rank number 1 is the year 1992, and it features Whitney Houston and various artists.
It's not Beyond Thunderdome, is it?
No, it is not. That's
Can't
a fun
remember what year
guess.
that was. Okay.
The Bodyguard, which of course also stars Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Not familiar with that one? It's about a bodyguard. Alex, coming in at number 2. The year 1977. The artists are Bee Gees and various.
Okay. Well, it's got to be Saturday Night Fever then.
That's correct, Alex.
Yeah, of course.
All right, you got number 3 already, Dirty Dancing. Number 4, the year is 1997. The artists are James Horner.
Wait, 97?
Yes. Sorry, I said 95 before. I lied.
Okay. So, sorry, what are the artists?
James Horner and various.
Do I know who James Horner is?
I don't even know if I know who James Horner is.
That's
An
not ringing
American
any bells.
composer. He worked on over 160 films and television productions between 1978 and 2015.
97. Well, I mean, I was going to say Armageddon at some point.
That'd be a
So
good
I don't think
guess.
it's that one, but it might be on there.
No, it's Titanic. Music from the motion picture.
Oh, I see. Now, if you did Celine Dion and other artists.
Yeah, not what they list on Wikipedia for some
It's
reason.
funny.
Number 5 is 1978. The artists are various.
Okay.
As a hint, we have talked about a song from this movie before, but not for Blockbuster
Not
Summer.
in the summer. Oh my gosh. I can't even think of a movie that would have come out in that time frame.
In that time frame? What if I told you that somebody died and that's why we talked about it?
We do that so much.
And that person has 3 first names. Actually, maybe the second one's a bit of last name. You get many Newtons? I don't know.
Oh, was it Grease?
Yes, it's Grease.
Yeah, okay.
Number 6 you're not going to get because I don't even know. It's Ashki. Aashiqui.
Is that... Huh.
It's a Indian Hindi musical.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, the next one I think is also that. This one from 1984, which also shares the 7 spot with that other film, is Prince and the Revolution. This is an easy one. This is a gimme.
Yes, Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yes.
I mean, not a licensed soundtrack, but I guess this doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm just.
And that's
this
probably
one's
true
just
of several of them. that
top
we've
10
already talked
soundtrack
about.
albums. Yeah, because he was actually. That's a Prince film. If it was Batman, what did he do? Batman Forever? No, even that. I think he
He wrote music for that.
songs for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like the Bat Dance. Is that right? The other one at number
That is
7 is
absolutely-
Flash Dance. The artists are various. I don't think you're gonna get that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Another Indian one at number 10 is Bombay, but sharing the number 10 spot is a 1994 film with Hans Zimmer, Elton John, and various.
Oh, is it like the? Oh wait, Hans Zimmer? I was
Yeah.
gonna say the Lion King, but that's not Hans Zimmer.
Well, I guess again, Alex, it is the Lion King.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, I didn't know Hans Zimmer was involved in that. Anyway.
Yeah, apparently. Well, there you go. But that is that's your licensed.
That's the top
it's not
10.
actually that's your top 10 soundtrack
Just film
albums.
soundtracks.
Licensing or no licensing. Alex, why don't I can dip right into another segment here. What do you think are the top 5 most used songs, needle drops as we like to call them in the business, in the
Needle
history
drops.
of film?
Okay. Gimme Shelter has to be up there.
That's a great guess, not in the top 5 though.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll give you 5 and we'll just see. So that's 1.
Yeah.
Gimme Shelter. Let me think. I feel like maybe Changes, David Bowie.
Another solid guess. I will tell you David Bowie is on the list, but not with that
Okay.
number.
I was trying to think of a David Bowie song that would be in stuff. Is it like Heroes?
Another solid guess. I'm going to
Okay.
count that as just one guess. No.
Okay. All right. That can be 2. I'm not just going to guess David Bowie songs the rest of the time. is Total Eclipse of the Heart on there? I don't know why that popped into my head.
That's a wild guess, but
it's a bit out there. It's a bit much, right, for general applicability.
Yeah. It's just like not. There's some famous uses of it. I'm pretty sure, but not like a ton of uses.
Is Mrs. Robinson on there?
That would be a good guess too, but
oh my gosh. I'm doing the next 5, the top 10.
Yeah, you probably got like 6 to 10. So according to this data from 2021, take one more guess, Alex. If I told you that the David Bowie song wasn't just David Bowie on it, you could probably guess it.
Oh, it's Under Pressure.
Yeah, there you go. That's number 2 on the list. So starting with number 5 is It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock.
Okay.
I don't actually know how that song goes. Number 4 is Spirit in the Sky, Norman Greenbaum.
Oh, yeah. That's been on like several of the soundtracks we've been looking up today already.
Yeah, exactly. It's Forrest Gump, the Guardians of the Galaxy has one of the films. It's probably in A Knight's Tale.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Did you like that song, Alex? Spirit in the Sky?
Spirit in the Sky? It's all right. It's a very amusing song because the story behind it is like he's like Jewish or something. He's like, I just wanted to write a gospel song because they were popular. And that it just like paid for the rest of his life.
Fuck yeah,
like,
dude.
Way to
that
go,
song. I mostly knew it, I think, from Rock Band 2 it featured in.
Yeah, it was in Rock Band 2. I definitely heard it in. I'm looking at these soundtracks. I swear I saw it in like some of them.
You probably saw it in
I think it's in Dazed and Confused. In Dazed and Confused?
Oh, yeah, probably.
No, Slow Ride is. Oh, well, I don't know, apparently.
My top memory with this song, though, and I'm sure I've probably told you this, is that I was doing my driving instructor lesson, so I was learning how to drive. And this song comes on the radio, and my instructor, this big guy, he just turns to me and he's like, do you believe in God? I was like, God, come on, dude. I just want to learn how to drive.
Oh, man.
I'm like fucking 16. This dude's like 45. Big divorced dad energy on him, too. It was not a comfortable place to be.
Did you take, just real quick, did you take that through our school, which was a Catholic school, or was it separate?
No, I think I took it separately. I took it through, like, it was called, like, Driver Education Center or something.
Right. Just curious, because, like, I took it through school, so he would have, like, picked me outside of the, like, a Catholic school.
Right, yeah.
So
I should have taken it through school, but I don't know, fucking...
Anyway.
But, Alex, number 3 is Push It, Salt and Pepper.
Oh, yeah, I guess that does make sense.
Yeah. Number 2, Under Pressure. Number 1, and I feel like you could have got this if you thought about it hard enough. You Can't Touch This, MC Hammer.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
That makes sense. I think in the 90s alone, he probably racked up quite a few uses of that. And that's according to some like data from 2021. So it's possible Under Pressure has taken the lead by now, because I feel like that one gets more play than You Can't Touch This. And I think I heard it in a trailer for something recently. But I don't know what.
It's in everything.
It's in everything, man. This one, there's some people on a different list that didn't say they had numbers. I think they were just kind of like picking ones that they knew were popular. But their number 1 might be right, is Happy Birthday to You by Patty and Mildred J. Hill.
I mean, fair enough. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Does it still count?
Does it still count? No, it's not allowed to count. Fortunate Son, CCR, is a popular one.
That's true.
Mr. Blue Sky, ELO, another big one. Those are kind of the ones I saw.
I've read that a couple times. Those are big. Is there another? Yeah, of my guesses, the only one I actually know to be used a lot is Gimme Shelter. And that might just be Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, it's exclusively him pumping that out. Alex.
Yeah.
We've talked about licensed songs. We talked lately about score, musical score. Now we know, of course, that you're a big scorecore guy.
Yeah.
One time it was in your Spotify top 5.
It was in my Spotify top 5 genres. I think I just listened to a lot of Bond songs.
Oh, yeah.
Which we talk about from time to time.
Score, yeah.
Not really licensed, but...
no, that's more of like what we're doing for the rest
cool.
of Blockbuster Summer, written for the film.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, score course. My question to you, Alex, is do you value musical score over licensed soundtracks? Is there a different like feeling you get when you hear one or the other in the film?
I would say there's definitely times where I feel like you should have just written music for the for the movie.
Right. It feels lazy to slot in a licensed song.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it's done well, like sometimes it's done well, and it's hard to deny that, like, yeah, that's the right song for it. Especially if you think of the song as more in like a folk context, where it's like you're just doing this thing, and if everyone knows it, that makes it more powerful, kind of thing, right? You can sing along or whatever.
Sing along, or like it provides an extra layer of like context to the film.
Yeah, versus, I mean, most scores won't get that popular, right? Like, especially nowadays, this is not like a big thing. Versus, like, I know the like Back to the Future theme, sure.
Right.
But that's just not as big. Even if it's somewhat recognizable, it generally isn't done kind of in the same style, I guess. So,
right.
I don't know. I don't know of any big like scores that have really like had that level of popularity lately.
Musical stings that I could think of from the past, like even 20 years.
Yeah.
Like Back to the Future, you go, and it's like, oh yeah, I don't.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, and that's a big one. But even like Alan Silvestri's still working. Like,
it's not. Yeah, it's the same guy is making it, right? So like, why is is it not as iconic? Is it just because there's too much media?
Yeah, and I've heard some criticism actually that's related to, like, they'll cut a movie to an existing song. And then they'll be like, we need a new song, but it's got to sound like this one.
Right.
Because we did all the timings to that song already.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't really know too much about that.
I think they did that kind of in The Graduate, too, where he slotted in just older Simon and Garfunkel songs. And he's like, well, we'll replace them later. And then he's like,
with new Simon and Garfunkel songs. Okay.
Yeah, and then he refused 2 of 3 of the songs that were written. He was like, well, I guess I'll just use the old ones.
Yeah. So that's, in those cases, it does seem like, well, why don't you just use the old one? Like, you clearly had that in your mind.
You had that in mind. Just pay out the licensing fee or whatever, right?
Yeah. Anyway, what was the question again?
The question was, do you like them?
Do you like them? Oh, yeah.
Basically, it's like, yeah, do you value one over the other? It was a broad question.
My point is, I mean, original score is cool, but, and original songs also cool. But I've definitely lately come to appreciate licensed stuff a little more. Again, if it's done well, right? Because if you're just throwing licensed songs in there, I mean, I don't really have much against the Minions. It's just not for me. But like, I get it, wanting to put the music in, but sometimes in those situations it'll kind of be like a hard cut, and then there's like just like a dance scene.
Yeah,
like,
that is also like a
happen?
children's.
It's also children's,
right?
So like I don't want to knock
you talked
it,
about earlier.
but
I think it does like help the kids stay like locked in and entertained.
Of like, yeah, now we're doing a musical scene. Now we're doing this.
Like, yeah, that is like a little forced as well. Like if you were to watch fucking Oppenheimer and they did like some musical dances, or like, I don't know, we're throwing in fucking the Beach Boys or. What Frank Sinatra in the 40s? What was appropriate in the 30s? Like,
would have been Frank Sinatra. Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, fuck it.
Kind of music did Oppenheimer.
Yeah, you're right. It can be a cheat, but there's when I think of good like licensed soundtracks, one I think of Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
say what you will about the guy; he's a bit of a freak. He likes to say the N-word, but he's got some pretty good needle drops. Naturally, the first that comes to mind is Reservoir Dogs.
I was actually looking for a reason to bring that up, because it's kind of a weird one for me, because I didn't listen to it. Like, I got that CD when I was like 18 or something.
Right, so you had the soundtrack to the movie, but no context
and
of
I hadn't
the movie.
seen the movie, yeah.
That's unreal.
But like, I like that soundtrack a lot. Like, I like those songs on there. It didn't necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily call it influential to me, but it's got some really good songs on it.
It's got some good songs on there, and it is all, I think for the most part, diegetic, because there was a radio station in the story, and that plays the tracks.
Yeah, after having listened to the soundtrack a lot, and then watched the movie, and then watching the movie, there's even songs that will just be on a radio, like in the background of a scene, and like I didn't even know those songs were in the movie because it's playing underneath people talking. So like you're paying attention to the conversation.
Right. Yeah. It's just woven in, and that's a pretty naturalistic take. We often have music playing in the background in our daily lives. Another guy who did that was Jesus Christ, why am I blanking on his name? The guy who did the Birds, in Rear Window. Fuck, what the fuck is his name? Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, Hitchcock.
Yes. And Rear Window does a similar thing with radios. All of his sound is like diegetic, and most of it is pop music that plays throughout. So it's a bit of a precursor to the Tarantino approach there, but also some very effective use of popular music.
Yeah. So is Reservoir Dogs the big soundtrack? Tarantino soundtrack for you, or is there another one you?
I think probably Pulp Fiction, because I think that was maybe the first Tarantino film I watched.
Right, it's got that. What's the song called? Oh my gosh, the one that the Black Eyed Peas sampled.
Wipeout.
Is that it?
I believe it's called Wipeout. I could be wrong.
Okay.
It's the because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be. Maybe it's not Jungle Boogie. It's not Let's Stay Together. It might be Bustin' Surfboards.
Surfy.
It could be Surf Rider. I assumed it was Wipeout. There is a song called Wipeout, though.
Yeah, that sounds right. Let's say that.
We'll say that. But yeah, you got Jungle Boogie on there. You got Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon while she's doing.
It might be Surf Rider.
Surf Rider. That's probably it.
Anyway.
Yeah, that one sticks with me.
Or is it Misery Lou? Oh my gosh, I have no idea.
Well, fuck. Why don't you just look up Black Eyed Peas Surf Rock Sample?
Surf Rock Sample. Maybe we'll never know.
The song is Pump It by the Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, it's Miserloo.
Apparently it's Misery.
Wait, that's a folk song? Oh, okay, now I see. Now I had the same thing you did, and now I'm also fucked up. Well, you know what they say.
What do they say?
I don't know.
I thought you knew what they said.
Oh, you knew. Yeah, Alex. But yeah, Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino, some great sampling choices. A good one, or at least like a sort of, is the slowed down version of Cat People.
Oh yeah,
Putting Out Fires. Yes, and Dave Bowie from Inglourious Bastards.
That's a really cool version.
Yeah,
is that just like an older single version or something? I can't remember.
I had heard that he just like slowed it down.
He just slowed it down.
The opposite of Nightcore, perhaps Daycore.
Daycore. Yes.
You slow it down by a bit.
I agree. That theater was quite gaudy.
Yes, the decor was not great.
Decor.
Alex, you got a big Tarantino soundtrack that sticks out to you?
I mean, just Reservoir Dogs, really. I mean, that's the only one I've really spent time listening to.
That's
because I had the CD.
Right, yeah, I guess you already went over that. Here's my next question for you, though. The Wes Anderson film, is it Royal... No, it's not Royal Tenenbaums. What's the one with the undersea one?
Yes, actually. The Life Aquatic.
The Life Aquatic, obviously. Is that one where he's living in the water?
There's water. Yes, actually, that
I wasn't sure if this one counted, because again, it is this modification of licensed music to put through another guy.
True, but I mean, it is still licensed, right? Like it's external. Like
right.
It's David Bowie music, right?
It's David Bowie music. How could we not talk about this?
It's Sue George.
Sue George, yeah.
Playing. It's all like acoustic versions of David Bowie songs. Very cool. Well, there's that part. There's more as well. There are some actual, just like straight up licensed songs.
Yeah, I see you got Search and Destroy.
I think that what's the other one? Here's to You. I think it's on there.
Here's to You by Ennio Morricone, featuring Joan Baez. Yes.
Is that
Gut Feeling by Devo?
Yeah, some Devo in there too. But a lot of it is him just like playing a guitar and singing David Bowie songs, which is just a really cool sound.
Yeah, and
he's got this like really deep voice too.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool. I've listened to the soundtrack. I haven't seen the fucking movie.
I watched it a little while ago. It's an odd movie. I found myself smiling a lot while watching it. It was quite fascinating.
Okay, I could say the same thing about his most recent film, Asteroid City.
Asteroid City? I definitely want to see that one.
Definitely see it. It was worth seeing it in theaters. I really enjoyed it, and I would like to see it again, I think. But yeah, just odd. It's very, it's Wes Anderson. It's quirky. It's charming.
Yeah. And the other two songs on there, too, are pretty cool. Here's to You and Search and Destroy. Like, I didn't, like... That was probably one of the first times I would have heard The Stooges.
The Stooges, damn, yeah.
Because I got that album, that CD out of the library, because I used to do that back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that would have been pretty much my first exposure to The Stooges ever.
First exposure, yeah. Let me ask you this question, Alex. Do you think licensed music, like which form of media consumption has most influenced your music taste? Is it licensed music in movies, licensed music in TV ads, or licensed music in video games?
Do you have an example of licensed music in? I guess Rock Band.
Yes, Rock Band, Brutal Legend, Tony Hawk, 1080. A lot of your Tony Hawk street sports games or like snow sports games.
I would say not too much for like
DDR
TV commercials, especially because the time I would have heard those songs and thought this is a song I might want to listen to would have been an era where they were using a lot of current music,
right?
And I would have
want to listen
rejected
to
that. I feel like nowadays it's less current music, but
you
I don't
want to
watch
tell her
TV
that you love her
much.
more.
What?
You remember that one was the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah,
used to be everywhere.
Is a Feist? Feist.
You're right. It's Feist.
I would say movies first, probably, just because that was an earlier influence.
Yeah, it seems like you had a lot of soundtrack albums.
Yeah.
And it seems like it had a big impact on you.
And then just because it was later in my life, just a little bit, like it was a couple years later.
Yeah.
And then video games for sure, because there's so much music that I heard for the first time in Rock Band.
Right.
And I would say, I don't know if I'd say that expanded my horizons necessarily, but it was definitely a big part of like me accepting the idea that just because music was made after 1995 didn't mean it was unlistenable.
Yeah, what a lie to believe. Just like
what
they don't make good music anymore.
Yeah, it's such a weird. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, insane. Yeah, I probably agree with you. Like even just like. Because when I was young, and that's probably your most foundational years for like music exposure, there wasn't a lot of licensed music for the games I was playing. I didn't really play the Tony Hawk games or...
Yeah, I rented them a couple times, so like I heard some... I also played the N64 version, which had less music on it.
less music on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn. But yeah, I think movies probably played a heavier part. But I think video games still, like, again, like later days, they get some hits in. And even, like, just looking back on, like, I've looked at the Tony Hawk's playlist. I'm like, oh shit, there's like some real classics in here. It's like unreal to see. But Alex, it's time for another segment. We talked about the best selling soundtrack albums, physical copies. Now we're going to talk about the best streaming soundtrack albums.
Oh.
Top 10.
Okay. Is A Star Is Born on there?
Yes, that's number 2. Good work,
nice.
Alex.
We're streaming. Is Minions thing on there?
No, there is no Minions on here. It was a good guess, Alex.
Baby Driver.
No, another good guess.
Oh.
You got to think more like big franchises.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking Guardians of the Galaxy.
That would be good. I maybe misled you with big franchises.
Okay, well, maybe we'll pull back a little bit.
Yeah, maybe pull back on that. Here, I'll give you the number 1.
Okay.
2015 is the year. The artists are Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Where have I seen them together? 2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Oh, what happened in 2015? I can't remember 2015.
Nobody can.
What year?
I'll give you a hint. This one is from a franchise.
Okay.
This is why I said think more like franchises. This is the one from a franchise.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I'm struggling to remember anything that happened in 2015. I'm like, when did Black Panther come out? When did
I'll tell you this, not
Into
Black
the
Black
Spider-Verse
Panther.
come
This
out?
is like a numbered franchise series.
numbered franchise series? I feel like I'm gonna recognize it. Like I'm gonna know it when you
As
say
soon
it.
as I say it, you'll know.
Because I know. I'm like, yeah, Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth. They did that. They did something together.
I think you've seen the 4th installment in this franchise. I don't know
Oh,
if
so
you've
it's
seen
Fast
it.
and Furious.
That's correct. Which one though, Alex?
Which movie? Which one was it?
Yeah,
Which entry? Sorry.
that's what I'm asking you, brother.
Oh, you're asking me in 2015. Fast 5. No, Furious 7, 6.
There
Damn
he
it.
is. It's Furious 7.
Furious 7. Okay, so it's Fast 6. And Furious 7, was that it?
I believe that's correct. It says
Okay.
Furious 7 here, so I assume it must be Fast 6.
All right.
And then the next one was Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah.
Here we have number 3. Alex already did number 2. The year is 2017. The artists are Hugh Jackman, Keala Settle, Zac Efron, Zendaya,
It's the
and
Greatest
Darius.
Showman.
That's right, Alex.
Yeah.
That was super easy. Alex, number 4, 2013. We got Robert Lopez, Kristen Anderson Lopez, Idina Menzel, and Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell.
Yeah, that's another like dead giveaway if you knew who's in the movie.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one that she's singing in.
Would it help if I mispronounced Idina Menzel's name like John Travolta did?
Is John Travolta's in it?
No, he just presented the award for this.
Oh. What did she sing in? Oh my gosh. I can't remember.
Think big companies, but not big franchises yet.
Kristen Bell. I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling.
Well then, like, let it go, man. Just let it go.
Oh, fuck. Okay, alright, so it's Frozen.
So it's Frozen.
Yeah.
We got
That's what
2
Frozen.
in the year 2016. The first one, the artists are Lin-Manuel Miranda, Mark Mancina, Opataya Foai, Auli Cravolo, and Alessia Cara.
What was that? I'm like, what was the movie? Like, was that like In the Heights or something? It didn't do that well, did it?
No, it's not In the Heights. It is another Disney film. I'll give you that.
What was Lin-Manuel Miranda in? Was he a voice or was he himself?
I think he just wrote the songs.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. What did he do
Hopefully.
this music for? I know he did a bunch of stuff around then, because like Hamilton came out.
Yeah, if I tell you The Rock is in it, does that help?
Oh yeah. The Moana.
That's right, Alex.
Yeah. I just gotta assume that these are all Disney movies.
Don't assume this
except
next
not
one
the next
is. In 2016 with Skrillex, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, Wiz Khalifa, and Various. I got no good like hints for this one.
Okay. Is it a movie I would have seen?
I think you've seen a movie with a similar title.
Oh, well,
That
I just
was
know.
Not exactly a remake of this, but like I guess a reboot.
A reboot of an older movie, presumably with the same or similar name.
Yeah, an older movie being 2016. And that movie. So the movie you saw would be The, and then the rest of the title. This one has no The.
Suicide Squad?
Hey, there you go, Alex.
Really?
Yeah.
I was so shocked that's on the list.
I'm shocked too.
Most
Like, what?
streamed?
For a terrible film, yeah. 2.5 billion streams on that.
Wow.
Next one, 7th place here, 2015. We got Ellie Goulding and The Weeknd.
Oh. Okay.
What can I tell you about this one? It was
What was the year again?
The year was 2015.
Oh yeah, the year I don't remember.
Yes, the original, the source material for this movie, I'll tell you, it's an adaptation, was fan fiction of Twilight, I believe.
Oh, it's from 50 Shades of Grey?
That's correct, Alex. Another weird one. Weird one to see there. Just a weird one.
Yeah, man, streaming's such a strange thing, right?
It is a strange thing. 2016, Alex, Justin Timberlake.
2016?
Yeah.
Is it a Minions movie?
No. Minion-like, though, in size and stature.
Is it
Maybe a bit
Sing?
smaller. No.
Okay, I don't know
that. Trolls.
Ah, Trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did know he did a thing.
Yeah, can't stop the feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, weird that movie exists.
It's things that I like wouldn't expect because I guess they're popular with younger people, probably.
Right? Yeah,
mostly.
you gotta remember
But I'm
streaming. You get a.
I don't know what the kids have been into for the last decade. Like,
Well, I'll tell you what. In 2017, they were into Tiger Zinda High. I'm not gonna make you guess that one because I don't.
okay.
I don't fucking know it.
2017.
Yeah, it's a 2017 Indian Hindi language action thriller film.
Oh wait, that was the name of the movie you said?
Yes,
Tiger
Zinda High.
Huh.
So that one. This one should be pretty easy as long as you don't overthink it. 2018 Queen.
Oh, then it's I'm like, what was the name of the movie? Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's the one, Alex.
So which Queen song did they name it after? We Will Rock You? No, that's a different thing.
No, that's a different thing.
That's the musical.
That's right. Terrible musical. You can hear us talk about that on an episode from 4 years ago. 3.
It would have been 2019, right?
I had come back.
Yeah.
Or had I? Yeah. Yeah, it must have been 20. Weird.
Damn.
Time, man. It makes fools of us all. Alex, we're coming up to our hour mark here. Any other hot takes, things you want to say about licensed music or music and films in general that you didn't get around to?
Yeah, well, nothing, no hot take, just that, like, I think it's great. It's cool. I mean, for as we get older, it maybe is annoying to hear these songs over and over again, but I think if you're a young person and you haven't heard them before, it's a really, really great way to hear this stuff for the first time. And it definitely was hugely formative for me.
Yeah.
When I was just starting to listen to music.
It's like getting a now that's what I call music collection, but like a little
exactly.
A little more tuned in.
And it goes through different eras, obviously. The era that I was in had a somewhat of an obsession with classic rock music, and maybe that was partially just my own preferences. But you can definitely see that in the movie soundtracks I listened to.
Hey, yeah, we should have mentioned School of Rock. Another one.
Oh,
one.
Yeah. I can't believe we didn't mention that.
I can't believe we didn't mention that. That probably influenced me a fair bit.
Yeah, I mean, not just the music in it, but like the concept of like random guy comes and teaches you how to be in a rock band.
Yeah, that appealed to me. And also he was funny, and I was like, cool, this rocks.
Yeah, this School of Rocks.
This School of Rocks. Well, that does it for today's episode. If you want to share it with us, maybe some licensed soundtracks you like, whether you prefer licensed music or musical scores, what you think is the most overused sound drop of all time or something. Talk to us about licensed soundtrack. Talk to us about what we talked about today. We are on, do we call it X now? Alex, are you up to date on this? Twitter's now X.
Oh, yeah, but is it still Twitter? Or is it, like, did the name change or just the symbol?
The name is, well, here's the weird thing. I've logged on. It's still twitter.com.
Like, you log in and it shows
you join Twitter, but now they're not called tweets anymore. They're called posts. He's like slowly
phasing out Twitter?
He's phasing out the Twitter branding.
Why didn't he just make his own?
I think he's fucked up.
That's a good way to take out the competition. Buy it and then turn it into your own thing.
Turn it into a failing business.
Yeah, what a strange.
That's business 101, baby.
Technique.
Ridiculous, but yeah, okay, we're on Twitter. I'm still gonna call it Twitter for now. You can tweet at us there. I'm not going to say post. At Jake the Cressy, at some Alex Wise Guy, hashtag CoverMePod. Talk to us there. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. You can also do that to us via email, covermepod@gmail.com. Talk to us there. Be sure to rate and review us. We're on Stitcher, Google Podcasts. Wait, does Stitcher still exist? Yeah, I think Stitcher does. Stitcher Premium doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, really?
Yes. Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, your favorite podcasting app. We're also on Spotify. Tell your friends, family, neighbors, loved ones about us. What you can do today, or just for the future, is you can do like a fan edit of one of your friends' favorite films, where instead of having the original score in it, it just has snippets from different episodes of Cover Me. And make it. You could do Reservoir Dogs. It'd be a good one. So you can just have playing in the back. And they're like, I didn't realize there was so much talk radio in this movie. And you'll be like, it's Cover
it's on
Me.
the soundtrack, but like it's not really in the movie too much, or is it?
Oh, there you do hear
the
like the
soundtrack is a bunch of,
DJ talk.
Yeah, the tracks with the DJ talking.
Yeah, but again, it's like sometimes he's mixed in low. It depends on how much he wants you to hear him.
Yeah.
But that's what you can do is mix us into your favorite episodes and send those to your friends, your favorite movies. Mix, you know what I said, folks. Do that. And that does it for today's episode of Cover Me. And as we always say on Cover Me, music licenses. Wow, Cover Me.